Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Kay, Craig, Stevie and Jan Aage Fjortoft joining us. Craig and I have had to hear the same joke of Stevie Nicol 4 times tonight. So we're hoping that we don't... More. Do we want it again?
No.
We don't want it again.
Just in case.
It's not a naughty one. It's just a funny one anyway. All right, just in case we won't hear it again. Right. Mando says, how come everyone is talking about Salah being the best in the world when Benzema has more goals and assists than anyone else in Europe in a pretty average Real Madrid side?
I don't know, I've never mentioned Salah being best in the world.
Can you tell me any of the goals that he scored this year?
Any of the goals that who scored?
Benzema.
He scored at the weekend.
Yeah, can you remember it?
Yeah.
What was it like?
Oh, what, do you want spectacular goals?
Well, I mean, there's a difference between a tap-in and
I mean, they're not tap-ins from
past
Benzema usually, are they? He's involved in the build-up and everything.
Yeah, apart from the one that came off his shoulder that time against, was it Celta Vigo?
What the Real Madrid supporter?
I'm just saying.
You look straight through me and give it, oh, well, Benzema.
I'm sticking up for Karim Benzema.
Well, when you score a goal as good as Salah's, the whole world's going to talk about it. Because you just don't see that type of goal every time you watch a game of football. You very rarely see it.
There's your answer, Mando.
Yeah.
Jan, Jason Maloney says, if both Haaland and Mbappe go to Real Madrid, do you see this working for either of them? Mbappe has issues now wanting to be the star at PSG. Does Haaland care?
No, I don't think he cares. I think it's interesting now that a lot of speculating now where he's going to end, because you can't know. You don't know what's going to happen. I mean, Mbappe, he needs to talk about it all the time, it seems. He's got his own talk show talking about that he wants to leave and why he's going to leave and this and that. Let's see what Real Madrid planning. Could they plan that they're going for these 3 up front with Benzema, Mbappe and Haaland? Maybe. What if Mbappe leaves PSG? Could Haaland be tempted to go and play with Neymar and Messi for a year, maybe a year? So there's a lot of things. I think Haaland cares. He believes in himself. He believes that he can go wherever. But these clubs, PSG, Manchester City, Real Madrid, they will have the money to get any player they want. So it's going to be interesting the next months.
Erling Haaland's a one-man wrecking ball, isn't he? I tell you what, I would laugh my socks off if those 2 players went to Real Madrid and Erling Haaland was knocking it out the park every week and Mbappe was getting overshadowed.
That's not very nice.
Well, I'm sorry, but I would, because he's at this moment in time, and he might be a nice young man, but he's shown himself to be an egotistical maniac at the moment.
A little brat.
Oh.
Spoiled, big kid.
Craig, you've been constant in this. You said that for a long time with Mbappe, and I agree with you. I remember I interviewed him like 200 years ago in Monaco. Yeah. He was like 11, and he was this cozy kid. But I'm not sure about his strategy now on and off the field. I agree with you.
No, you're right, and it's not painting him in a very good light. And yeah, the football eventually and his performances might just brush that to the side. But these things rear their head when performances are not there. And that's the trouble. You put more pressure on yourself by keep making these statements and keep saying these things that are making you look as if it's all me. Look, I started seeing a change in him after the World Cup, watching him playing for France and PSG, where, let's not make any bones about it, he was throwing himself to the ground in a lot of games, just blatantly diving, right? And that had crept into his game big time, and all these bad habits, I think, have started to creep in, and they're superseding sometimes this super talent that we know he has. So I have no issue with saying that if they both go and Erling, because until he changes his attitude, I don't know about everybody else, I'm totally fed up listening to his whinging.
Yeah.
Well, someone else you're a huge supporter of is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And Julian, the Blueberry man, would like to know, can Ole manage huge stars in the dressing room? And yes, he did call him Ole.
Look, I think Solskjaer has got a good way with people. Jan knows this better than me. That's how I perceive it from the outside, that he has a good way with his players. But ultimately, that's not what this job is about. The job's about having a rapport with your players and having performances and a plan. And at the moment, it's not Both are not.
No.
What's the word?
All the best managers.
Lost for words.
Here's the thing.
For once.
All the best managers, it's hard to define it, but it's just the truth. All the best managers, when they walk in the dressing room or they walk anywhere and as a player, the player sits up.
Having said
I
that,
can't define it. There's a little bit of fear, there's a little bit of respect, there's a lot of things involved in that. And I've never been in the company of Ole or seen him in the dressing room, but I just do not see the players, when Ole walks in, giving it one of those and watch, the boss is in town. I don't see that.
Jan?
Yeah, well, it's interesting to discuss this because having said that, we are all 50 plus in the studio and we grew up with different managers and that is put into everything.
Excuse me.
I love you.
Hey,
I love you, but you were not in the dressing room at Middlesbrough.
Stephen here, yeah.
You know,
yeah,
so that's what I meant.
You're right, I was not. I absolutely was not.
I know you're 29, so that is not the problem here. But what I'm saying is, we talked about that before. I talked to Julian Nagelsmann, and I asked him how he was when he walked into that Bayern Munich dressing room. He was 34, and he said he was nervous. But there is a lot of way to get your respect. I think Nagelsmann will get his respect because he's innovated. He's very good in training. He's a modern coach, and all those kind of stuff. But what I don't understand, Craig, when we always discuss Ole Gunnar, I think we can discuss winning or not winning, not performing and performing, and I agree on that as well. But last year, then whatever, he has to win. Last year he was second. This year, if we go with the argument that you're using that a manager should be good at getting in good players, well, he got in Varane, Sancho, and Cristiano Ronaldo. That is not a bad transfer summer for him.
Hold on. I didn't ask the question. I merely answered the damn thing.
Julian, the Blueberry Man, asked the question. So there, Julian.
Yeah. No, but Craig, in answering that question, in a courtroom, the lawyer would stand up and say, I will protest. I will have an objection there because we have to.
Well, you can go at it two ways.
Yeah, say.
Hold on.
You could say, well, these players, Varane and Sancho, Ronaldo, came, but did they come because of Ole, or was it just? No, Ole was there and they were going to go to Man United.
But they did not come because of him.
Let me just clear this up.
We have to be constant.
Let me just clear this up. Okay. I really don't know what I've said wrong here because I was asked a question. I said I think Solskjaer has a good mannerism with players, but ultimately it'll boil down to results. I mean,
yeah, and don't turn this around on Craig because you said I was over 50.
I'm the nice guy here.
29-year-old, I have to say something to that 50-plus man because we have to be constant in what we're saying. I follow you, Craig, when you analyse always of Ole Gunnar or Manchester United because it's all about winning and everything. But as it is, when we discuss this kind of thing, and Stevie, you're saying that he didn't take those players to the club, but still they came to the club. So Jurgen Klopp, we love him, and he's doing, but he didn't attract any player. Then shall we use the same argument there?
But hold on, Jan. Listen. I have been totally constant in what I've said about Manchester United and their manager. Totally, never wavered in 2 years since he got the job full time. Never wavered. As for Liverpool, that's a financial situation more than anything else. I mean, I don't know. I thought I answered it.
I think he's got a problem with his filter. Because he just said there that I said that they came despite him. I never made any statement. I'm just saying you could look at this a whole lot of ways and that they did come, but it could be despite him being there or it could be because of him. I don't know. I didn't answer. I didn't say one way or the other.
OK. Are you three done?
I answered that question very nicely. Jan's having a pop at me.
Got a filter.
No. Right. When we discuss, there are when we discuss Manchester United, Craig will do his part. He will be annoyed and talking about his performance. Fair enough.
And you'll stick up for your compatriots.
I will be told, you are Norwegians who don't care what you say because you will protect your friend. I think that we should meet in the middle somewhere here.
Can you meet him halfway? Right.
I'll meet him halfway if Man United improve.
All right. Yeah, we'll meet you after that run of games that we showed earlier in the
middle
show.
path.
All right.
It's not a cuddling contest, you know.
It is not. I'm going to do this one quickly because I like the question after it. So Johnny
We'll just
asks,
miss this one out and go to the next one. I'm on the clock here.
Johnny asks, Stevie, which team do you see as the potential surprise elimination in the Champions League group stage?
Inter Milan. Inter Milan.
All right,
Has
there
to
we
be.
go. All right, I want the next one. Stevie
So you want a
Nicol's
kid,
cooking
you're gonna move on.
instructor
That's
says,
a microwave. So there's a microwave sending this in.
this is a microwave. Sending in a question to Extra Time. For all three of you, what is something about this generation of footballers that drives you absolutely mental?
Soft.
Easy. We were talking on the show about Kylian Mbappe, how he needs to keep his mouth closed. And they're all the same. They're either talking through the media, they're either talking on social media, and all these other platforms.
So social media aside, there were no players coming out and talking and making statements in your day?
You know, there was a guy, I always remember reading an article in the Liverpool Echo, and he actually said, you know what, I actually enjoyed leaving on a Saturday afternoon after the game. I never heard anything about any of the players or anything else, and I turned up to watch them again at the weekend. He says, all this other wasted time and effort, and he was here on a Wednesday night, and he should have been there on a Tuesday. He said, it's absolute nonsense.
What's the most difficult Twitter handle? Stevie Nichol's cooker instructor or Don Hutchinson's maths teacher?
Maths teacher, yeah. There's a few. There's some
close.
brilliant ones.
Bearing in mind he struggled with eggs this last couple of weeks.
No easy.
Poached eggs. You ever heard this one?
I missed this one.
He's struggling with his fried eggs. Can't get the yolk to the desired texture.
Oh, no.
I keep breaking it as well when I put it in.
Oh, dear Stevie.
He's very, you know, this is the kind of things that keep him up at night.
It's a crisis.
Yep. Oh, it's very much
It's a crisis.
Because he dips his toast in it, bread.
Jan, what drove you absolutely mental? Or what drives you absolutely mental about this generation of footballers that wouldn't have happened in your day?
Yes, well, first of all, I'm sorry for missing a penalty. That is the freshest thing that Bruno Fernandes had through his media people, doing some statement that he apologized for missing a penalty. That is one thing. And in general, I think it's okay that that is this generation, that they have this me society, and I mean that they are a consequence of this generation. But I think then that they have to make normal interviews as well. Then, if they're going to do that, this thing that they should only do it by themselves in the social media and block themselves out of everything else, that I don't like. But maybe because I'm pitch side, I don't like that at all.
All right. My name is Fat Mick. It's for everyone.
What annoys you, by the way? What annoys you about players?
My name
What annoys
is
me about
Fat
players
Mike.
today?
Aye.
Okay.
I don't know. There probably would be a list of them, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Aye.
But yeah, I don't know what I'd be comparing it to. It's changed a bit. I think that there's just a bit of a change anyway in the way that they communicate in post-match press conferences, because now they're also media trained. So you might have got a player back in the day who would give you a little bit more than most players.
I was reading
will
something
today.
the other day, actually. I was reading something the other day, is that some players in the lower leagues in England and even non-league are getting their agents to vet questions from local newspapers.
Wow.
I mean, local newspapers are like the lifeblood.
But we've seen clubs banning local newspapers and lots of
but
players
exactly.
but I'm telling you that's how much the game has gone, is that you would talk to these guys outside the training ground, just go out and talk to them, right? They're not big tabloids, they're small guys trying to make the way, and now these people are getting vetted, and these players that are, with all respect, are pretty much nobodies out with their own little circle. They're not famous anywhere else apart from the locals, and they're having it vetted. Jeez,
they don't know the bond, do they?
game has gone with people like that.
All right, for all of you, were there any pitches or parks you dreaded having to go to play at? Whether it be the opposing fans, the conditions, whatever. Alternatively, were there any you most looked forward to playing at? Jan, was there anywhere you hated going to or really loved going to?
Anfield, fantastic atmosphere. We always got hammered, I felt, but it was still
So that was a
fantastic
love-hate
to play at
relationship.
Anfield, and it was fun also to play with in front of the yellow wall in Dortmund was unbelievable. But in general, I grew up with English football. I was so desperate, wanted to play in English football. So I mean, going to Burley, I remember there wasn't a lot of. The shower was a bit cold. It was a dark tunnel into the dressing room, but I loved it. I loved all those kind of things that I experienced in English football. So when the opposition's fans tried to go at you, I think that just motivated me. So I can't come into a stadium that I didn't want to go to. Of course, when you went to Anfield, you knew that you wouldn't touch the ball a lot and you will maybe get hammered at one of the big stadiums, but you still loved to go there.
Stevie?
Easy, Anfield. You go and play. Fun, give it. I would say Millwall away.
I was thinking Millwall when you were all
It was
talking.
just hot. Just everything about it was horrible. Changing rooms were rotten. The pitch
fans.
was rotten. It kind of felt as though you were in a prison. It was like there was barbed wire and fences and just everything possible to stop the crowd getting on the field to eat you.
Who were happy to say, no one likes us, we don't care, which tells you everything, right?
I mean, the atmosphere was good to play in because it was hostile. That's great, that gets you going. But the field was rotten, as I said, and getting in and out the stadium because you got plenty of people wanting to go at the boss and calling you names and chucking stuff and just all that. But yeah, that wasn't a place to be looking forward to.
Never really dreaded anywhere, to be honest. I mean, Crystal Palace, when Wimbledon were playing at Selhurst Park.
Sellers Park, yeah, I agree.
The field was rotten.
And I remember playing there in an FA Cup 16 or quarter-final against Wimbledon, can't remember exactly. But we pitched up, and I swear to God, around 96, 95, 96, there was not, I don't think there was a blade of grass on the pitch. I mean, it was just mud, and the story goes that Joe Kinnear, who was the Wimbledon manager at the time, had the local fire brigade in to soak it even more before the game because he didn't want a passing game. But ultimately we beat them because we had some pretty good players like Ruud Gullit and Mark Hughes and others who didn't quite care. But apart from that, you know, going to Liverpool, I used to like going to Old Trafford, and I tell you why, the pitch seemed big and wide. You always got a bit of space. Always and Highbury was the opposite, but then Highbury was just a great little atmosphere.
Highbury was fantastic.
Highbury was a great place to go, but I understand how Arsenal had to move to a big stadium.
Southampton was awkward.
All right.
Adele.
Aye. Well, that whole thing for us, we never used to do well there because we'd leave on a Friday just after lunchtime to go to Southampton.
That's a bit of a trek for you.
And a clear run, it's like 5 hours that it was then. But with the traffic, it could take us like 7 hours to get there.
Thing.
They're not flying in those days, you know what I mean?
No, well, there you go.
Think on the way
they'd be
back,
flying now, wouldn't they?
Think on the way back how many beers on the coach that was.
The problem is, on the way back, we always ran out, which is frustrating.
Right.
They didn't have flies when you played, Stevie, or did you go always with bus?
Biggles.
All right. Favourite Halloween candy, Jan? Favourite Halloween candy?
Is it English? Licorice? Licorice. Oh, I love licorice. I could eat licorice every day. I have to get it out of my house. I'm alone today at home. Thank God there is no licorice in my house.
Yeah, I'm at home as well, Jan, and I'm not going to be having licorice. Well, I might have something else.
Well, it's very similar. It's just take the S off.
Yeah.
Liquor. That's what he's having.
Yeah, should have seen that one coming.
And lots of it.
But that's not Halloween candy.
Toffee apples. Do you remember toffee apples?
I do, yeah.
Do you ever have that anymore? Toffee
Yeah,
apples?
they're fair. Yeah, it's like an apple covered in toffee. Or like...
Oh, well, thanks for the explanation. I never knew.
Did they do duking for apples?
All right, last one.
We call it
Did they
duking.
do what? Toffee apples? I think so.
Duking for apples.
Oh, I don't think so. That's disgusting, though, when you think about it.
What?
When we used to do those Halloween games where you all bob and put your mouth in the water to try and grab apples.
Yeah.
Apples,
And if you didn't get it, you didn't get it.
Yeah, you didn't, but you got a mouthful of someone else's spit. Right, okay. Stevie Nichol's cooking instructor is back in.
Not in this day and age, you're not doing that.
No, definitely not. All right, for all three of you, I don't know why this is even...
Oh, jeez.
If you were rooming together for a week in Magaluf, which is in Mallorca,
Yeah.
Who would do the cooking? Who would do the cleaning? And who would be the one not doing any work except watching football all day and yelling at the TV? I'm not sure that you'd be doing any of those three things in Magaluf anyway.
Easy.
Go on then.
Oh, it's dead easy. Jan would be doing the cooking. He'd be
my
doing
wife
the cleaning because he likes things to be neat and tidy and cleaning the whole thing. And I could sit on the bed watching the telly, making sure they get on with their jobs properly.
Because he won't be watching the football. That's for sure.
Right. Yeah.
Have you been
Craig's
in
little cook, I remember you telling me.
Magaluf?
Because you had to learn early.
Yeah, no, I don't mind cooking.
I've been to Magaluf.
Yeah, I've been to Magaluf.
Yeah.
I went there when I was 16. Oh boy.
I went there when I was 17. Oh boy.
Yeah. Hey, have you been in Magaluf when you were 17?
Yes. That's all I'm going to say, though.
I can't believe it. I have to talk to
My
your
mum and dad
parents.
gave me permission.
Wow.
Have you been then, Jan?
Yes, but I'm not sure that I was cleaning. I was not cooking. I was not watching TV.
Yeah, neither was
Listen,
I.
the room I had when I was in Magaluf when I was 16, there's not enough hours in the day to clean it. Trust me.
How many of you were in it?
2.
2, okay.
Trust me. Listen. I said to the reception, there's ants behind the bed. He said, you know this one, didn't you? He said, we'll pull the bed away from the wall. I said, I did. They pulled it back. It was filthy.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.